I'm Flora. I'm the project manager at Findacure, and today I'm really just going to go over why I think we should all care about rare diseases and why they are an incredibly important issue in health for all of us, not just people living with rare conditions. And I'm going to introduce this new term, fundamental diseases. So let's begin. I just want to start out. I wonder if anyone could tell me what this figure actually is representing, 6,000 to 8,000. Does anyone know?
Number of rare diseases
Yes.
identified.
That's absolutely correct. So a lot of people come across this figure, 6,000 to 8,000, and immediately go, there's so many rare diseases, why should any of us really bother? It doesn't affect that many people. They hit the word rare and they just shut down. And actually, a lot of people don't then think how many people this actually impacts. So there are actually 6% of the UK population are people living with a rare condition, or in other terms, it's 3.5 million people. That's a very large number, and even larger is 350 million people worldwide. So if that was actually a country, that would be the third most populous country in the world, and these are all people living with rare conditions. But then they're still dismissed because of that original number, and they're seen as invisible, so many people may have this disease, but you don't see it on them, and so you just assume they're not affected by anything at all. And so we also need to think about the other people impacted. So it's not just people living with the disease, it's their family, it's their friends, and the number keeps multiplying. So just because individually they don't affect as large numbers as, say, heart disease or diabetes, doesn't mean that we should just gloss over them. And in fact, rare diseases actually help us better understand a lot of these conditions. So, for example, familial hypercholesterolemia is a disease that we like to quote quite frequently at Findacure. It helped us to studying this particular ultra-rare condition, helped us to better understand the mechanisms of cholesterol, which then led to the development of statins, which is now a treatment for heart disease. Another example is congenital generalized lipodystrophy, which has a very extreme resistance, it displays itself with an extreme resistance to insulin, which research into this condition is now helping us better understand type 2 diabetes. So these are all very important conditions that not only important to those who have it, it's important to the health of all of us to understand these diseases. And that's where Findacure has come up with this term, fundamental diseases, to emphasize that extreme and rare conditions offer a unique understanding to better understand human physiology and more common conditions as well. And so this is not actually a very new concept. So it all started out with this man. I wonder if anyone can identify him.
William Harvey.
Yes, used this before. So he in the 17th century came up with the quote that to discover the usual laws of nature, we need to carefully investigate cases of rare forms of disease. And this concept, this theory, continued on through history with this man, Archibald Garrett, that most of you should probably recognize as the man who first identified alkaptonuria. And he said that many lessons which rare maladies could teach could hardly be learned any other ways. So this concept is continually going through history. Most recently, this man, Francis Collins, the director of the NIH in the US, said, "What we learn from rare disorders often has profound consequences for our understanding of more common conditions." So with our term, fundamental diseases, we're just the next step in this narrative, and we need to continually spread this understanding that rare diseases are important not just in themselves, but for all of us. And so I'd like to close with a quote from William Bateson that's very much at the heart of Findacure and the work we're trying to do. And I think it's a quote that we should all take away with us today, which is that we need to treasure our exceptions and recognize this fundamental importance. Thank you. Is there any questions?